Hello, hope you're all doing well. I'm going to cover a lot of stuff today, so I'm probably not going to take any questions, at least for this session today, because we're going to go through a lot of stuff. But the biggest question I get constantly is, how do I make money, Lauren? How do I make it right now? How do I create more leads? How do I get more business? How do I get more closings? Can you tell me real quick? Well, it's not a fast business to get started in. And there's a lot of ways to generate income and generate activity. I'm going to go through some unique ways that might be a little different than what you're used to seeing. 7 lead generating ideas to help you find clients. But I want to start just by reminding you that you are part of our team, and you're not just part of our team, you are the team. I want to thank everybody who participates in this and everything that we do for your hard work, your passion, your commitment. Every client you help, every challenge you tackle, and every deal you close makes all of us stronger as a group, and we appreciate everything that you do. Now, I mentioned this at a session earlier, but I want to talk about the fact that this past year was pretty rough. The number of agents in 2024 nationally that sold at least one house was only 29%. What does that mean? It means over 7 out of 10 realtors, 71%, did not sell a single house the entire year. 71%. Now, at Central 21, we did a little bit better. 62% of our agents actually did sell a house, so more than double the national average. Still not something anybody should be proud of because the market has been rough and a lot of agents are struggling or failing and not making the money they need to. So we need to find a way to help you to take more market share, to be able to capture those leads that come in and run with them and get them to closing. So again, 71% of agents in the US in 2024 had no income. And we want to work on fixing that. The biggest problem isn't actually the lead, it's the follow-up. So before I get into prospecting methods and generating lead methods, I need to remind you that, again, the fortune's in the follow-up, and so is the commission. I want to start with the brutal, honest truth. The average agent closes 1 out of every 30 leads that ends up buying a house. I want that to sink in. 1 out of 30. So for every 100 leads you get, and that means Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, whatever comes in, out of those 100 leads, the average agent is closing slightly over 2 these days. And we know that almost 66% of them, almost 66 leads, turn into sales within the next year or so. They can track that and find out how many of those people went and bought houses. And it's in the mid 60s. And the average agent is closing 2. So 1 out of 30. So you have the opportunity to close 29 more sales for every one that each agent is closing. So that means statistically, we're not selling homes, we're playing hide and seek with buyers and we're losing. So before you start blaming the market or the leads or Mercury in retrograde, let me tell you what the real issue is. I have to say this as nicely as I can, but as firmly as I can. It's follow-up, or rather the lack of follow-up. So everything we talk about today is, how do we make sure that when we generate those leads, we get them to closing? I call them the 3 follow-up ghosts of real estate. Most agents do what I call the first contact fizzle. They make one call, maybe they make a call, maybe they send a text, and then nothing. The lead gets lost somewhere between your voicemail and the Bermuda Triangle of your inbox. But here's the deal. People don't usually buy a house after the first call. They buy after they trust you. And trust comes from consistent, helpful follow-up, staying in contact with them. So what do? We stop relying on memory because, let's be honest, most of us can't remember what we had for lunch yesterday. And instead, we build systems. And that means every client goes into a contact management system, whether we're using MoxieWorks or something else. They get plugged into an automated email campaign, a follow-up campaign, a tickler campaign, a drip campaign. But that's not enough. We've got to text them. We've got to call them. We've got to show them that we care and occasionally remind them that we're actually alive and awesome. But Lauren, I don't want to bother them. And, they didn't call back and I tried them 3 times. Well, you probably tried them too. But between 60 and 65 of those leads, those 100 people, will buy a property and may get stuck with someone who doesn't care as much as you do. And out of that 60 or 65 people who settle on a home, You will sell only 2 of them homes. You're not bothering them. You're really helping them. And I know a lot of you think that you are following up, but far too many of us don't, unfortunately. Now, I hear this line all the time. Well, I get all the business from my past clients. They refer me business. They all come back to me. And sadly, that's not even true. And you might not even realize it. So there was a study done, well, I shouldn't say recently, it's been done over the last few months, where a company, an AI company, has agreed to take a lot of the top agents and top teams in the country, pull in their databases, their CRM, of past clients, and double check using methods to, I forget what you call it, but track down where these people are today and see if they moved, if they sold a house and moved without using the agent that sold them the house, the people that are in their CRM. And what they found was kind of startling. But you know that 6 to 8% of the people in your database are going to list their home in 2025? Of all the people in your phone contact list right now, how many people are in your phone right now? They're going to put their home on the market this year. Think about how many leads that possibly is. So again, talking about past clients, you think someone we helped buy their dream home would come running back to us the next time they're ready to move, right? Well, that's wrong. Even experienced agents, based on this most recent study, and I looked over the data, and it's pretty clear. It's unfortunate, but it's clear. Even experienced agents who've been in the business 5 or 10 years that do great work only relisted 1 in 6 of their past clients. And the superstar teams, the top teams in the country that this group studied, only got about 40%, about 2 out of 5 of their past clients listed with them when they came back. Why? Because we helped them move in, then we moved on. We forgot to follow up. And meanwhile, they ran into a new agent at a barbecue, got a magnet, and boom, they're not yours anymore. And again, here's the kicker. Between 6 and 8% of your past clients and social network that you know are going to move this year. And if you're not in touch, they're not thinking of you. And there are other ways people get in between. So another recent study, different group, asked thousands of consumers how many real estate agents they personally know. Not that they know of, but they know as friends or relatives. They have the agent they bought the home from, and you might be that agent. But they also probably have a relative in the business. They have someone in their church. They have someone in their kid's school. They have one of their neighbors, an old friend from high school or college, and so many others. And the results probably will surprise you. 34% of respondents knew between 1 and 5 realtors, but 29% could come up with 6 to 10 realtors they know off the top of their head. 17% knew 11 to 20 realtors, and 4% knew more than 21 realtors. So even if you sold them the house, half your past clients know more than 6 realtors right now, and nearly everybody knows more than just you. So that brings us back to staying in touch, staying top of mind. How do we do that? And that's why we provide so many social media posts, at least to help you to remind everybody you're in contact with that person. You're the person to call if they need help. But we need to go beyond that. No, Lauren, you send out these corny things. I don't want to do anything corny. Can you just run more ads and generate more buyers that I'm not going to follow up with? We've got to stay in contact with the people that already like and trust us, because that's where business is going to come from. It's where a lot of it comes from. So here's what we need to do. 4 pillars of follow-up mastery. Now, of course, I created this one. Stay on top of your current clients. The ones that are ready to buy or sell right now, you've got to stay in constant communication with so that they buy from you. But you're also getting leads that are not ready to buy right now. So follow up consistently with active leads. People are looking over a period of time, even if they're ghosting you harder than a bad Tinder date. Stay in regular contact with the ones who say, well, we're thinking about moving in 6 months or 3 to 6 months, which really means call me again in 2 weeks when I realize I have no clue what I'm doing and I get excited to buy. And have long-term nurturing systems for those who say maybe in a year. Because maybe today could be a listing next spring if you're the one who stayed in touch with them. And that means having nurturing systems for everyone who's a past client or part of your social network as well. Staying in contact with them, staying in touch with them. And we'll talk about that a little bit today. Real estate isn't about magic. It's not about who gets the fanciest website or the most glitter on their business card. It's about who builds relationship, who follows up, who stays top of mind, not just top of their inbox. So let's stop jumping from one lead to another like squirrels in espresso and start building warm relationships that actually lead to closings. Let's get you out of that 1 out of 30 club and into the I'm too busy to write answers to writing offers to answer that call club. Let's go follow up and follow through. Now, what we really want for 2025 is to help you to explode your listing appointments with your database. We're doing so much education because we want to help you succeed. There are some changes happening in the industry. And while many tried and true systems work, we want to incorporate modern day lead generation and follow up strategies. We want to help you to effectively use that Century 21 and Moxie ecosystem to be successful because we're already paying for it. Century 21 pays part of it, and we pay for the IDX feeds and some of the other components of it. And we want to help you to create effective follow-up systems and campaigns that you actually use. I can't do everything for you. And unfortunately, I get asked that pretty often. Well, can't you come in and set this up? I can't. It's physically not possible. But I can help you to create those systems, and you have to run that system itself. Although there's a lot of stuff that's self-generating once you get it going. You've got to understand it and you've got to set it up. We all want that magic pill, that quick and easy way to make money, but they don't exist. So I want to get back to some of the ways of generating income. And you're probably getting a lot of ads on your Instagram or on your Facebook page or any social media you're on. You're getting hammered with these ads online telling agents that this trainer's got the secret sauce that's going to make you a 6 or 7 figure income, and you'll never have to call an expired listing or a for sale by owner again. You'll never cold call. You'll never have to pay for leads. If you just learn their secret, you're going to have money flowing in and these huge incomes. And I've tuned into more than a dozen of these. And all of them, every one I've participated in, see how they are, require either a heavy investment of time and calling, picking up the phone and getting in front of people, or a heavy investment in cost. And I'm going to explain that in a few minutes. But you can see some of these. If you just post our ads, our reels, you'll make money. Build a prospecting plan that doesn't suck. Real estate agents add 2 to 3 closings per month without ever cold calling or ever paying for an ad. Come on. Leads don't pay the bills, conversions do. Well, that I actually agree with. Only $37. The prospecting clinic, 8 powerful real estate lead generation ideas for new agents and realtors. Lots of ideas out there. And I go through as many of these as I possibly can. But it's rehashing and bringing back some of the old systems. Some of it is new because a lot of it has to do with staying in front of people and staying in contact with people. Once you get them visiting your website, and if you don't have your website set up, that doesn't work. But once you have them visiting your website or communicating with you, you can actually add them to follow-up campaigns that push out social media ads directly to them, that push out emails or text messages directly to them. Staying in constant contact with them and reminding them that you're out there. But you've got to get the lead first, then you've got to build that follow-up system. And that's what a lot of this has to do with. And a lot of it does have some cost involved. You see, all lead generation or business building falls into one of these 3 areas on the screen. I've said this before. But I'm going to apply this to the ideas that we're going to talk about today and some of the stuff you might be seeing in your social media. I'm going to start with number 2, paying for business. Yes, we can buy business. When you hear some of these programs online explain that you can attract business to you for free and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, many of them are using what we call funnels. You might have heard of that term before. Funnels that bring business into you and funnel it into which ones are ready to buy now and which ones are ready to buy later, or list now and list later. They work through using heavy YouTube or YouTube ads, social media marketing campaigns, or building webinars. And I'll talk about several of those today. But they don't make you $300,000 by just posting on your Facebook page organically. The people who see your Facebook posts are the people you're already connected with. They teach you how to build advertising campaigns that run $500 or $800 or $1,000 or in some cases $1,500 a month. Now, by the way, it might be worth it to do that. Lauren, I don't have that kind of money. It may be worth it to do that because you actually get a great return on your investment. They really do work. But for every one of these methods, they cost money. And on top of that, these trainers want to sell you that the fact that they'll build the marketing tunnels for you, funnels for you, or that low price of only $97 a month or $200 a month, or some of them are $500 a month. Or you'll need their software, or you'll need their contact management system, which has texting follow-up or something else. That's paying for business. And that's number 2 on my list. And there are other ways to pay for business. You can pay for it in referral fees, like OpCity or Sold.com. Or you can pay over $200 a lead for Zillow leads and close 2% of them. Or you can pay consistently to send postcards to people over and over again. And postcards can work. They can be effective, but you're paying for that. And paying for business generates business, but it's expensive. The third one on this list, prospecting, is really going out and building business, not spending as much money, but spending time and doing some of the things that many of us don't want to do. It's more challenging making phone calls today than it's ever been. But you can make phone calls. You can farm neighborhoods over and over again, hitting the same people. They do eventually get to know you, like you, and trust you. Knocking on doors, calling for sell by owners, and calling expired listings. Circle prospecting, I'll probably talk about at the end of today. And just spending time and energy working. That absolutely does work. It's a little harder today, but it does work. But business doesn't simply come to you from affiliating with the right company or waiting for that phone to ring. And that's why 95% of realtors stay in the business 3 years or less. But the ones who remain make great livings. The top one up here, referrals, is creating long-term business. And that's the best kind over time, but it takes a long time to get there. That's building a referral business. But again, we need to follow up with everybody. Building strong relationships that cause people to keep coming back to you and referring you. But even this is getting challenging in a world where every third person is a realtor, and automated follow-up campaigns are rampant in the industry. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. And I want to leave you with one more thought before diving into our 7 lead-generating ideas. Consistency, not chaos, is the real secret to real estate success. Let's get a little real for a second. In real estate, we all say we're going to prospect more. We intend to prospect. We intend to follow up. We mean to make those calls right after we organize our email inbox, or color code our CRM, or maybe alphabetize the snack drawer in the office. But here's the truth. Success in real estate isn't about having the fanciest tools or the prettiest branding. It's about doing the right things over and over and over, even when you would literally rather do almost anything else. I like to compare this to dieting. I say this a lot. You can't eat a salad on Monday and expect to wake up Wednesday with 6-pack abs. Be nice, but it doesn't happen. If that were true, I'd be doing motivational sit-ups right now. It takes consistency over time. So instead of thinking, I'll try prospecting for a couple of days and see what happens, try thinking I'm going to commit to 30 days of consistent follow-up. This is how I'm going to lay out my schedule. And then stretch that 30 days to 90 days. And then stretch that 90 days to 6 months. And before you know it, you've built a pipeline that actually, well, pipes. Now let's talk a little bit about the trap we all fall into. And I call that busy work. You can spend 3 hours researching new logo fonts and still not have a single listing appointment. But 1 hour calling warm leads, that might actually get you paid. So let's make a deal. Prioritize money-making activities first. Prospecting, follow-up, appointments, marketing your sphere. And then and only then can you reorganize your Google Drive folders for the 17th time. Now, there are lots of great trainers out there that give daily plans, and some of them are pretty simple. Every morning, send out 5 CMAs to people that you know, like, and trust you. Every morning, call 14 people, is I think Tom Ferry's method. Call 5 people you know and just chat with them. Call 5 people that are active clients. Or, I'm sorry, call 5 people that you don't know for sell by owner, expired listing, whatever. And call 4 people that are active clients you're working with. Make 14 calls a day. And you know what? If you do that every day, you are going to generate more business. It just happens to work. There are other ones that tell you to send out 5 handwritten notes every morning. Find people to send them to, and it's going to resonate differently with them. It's going to really build your business because people start talking about you. And you know what? That works too. But lay out that plan, whatever that plan is, and stick to it. And one other thing I'll mention is get yourself an accountability partner, accountability buddy. Let's be honest, we all perform better when somebody's watching. That's what happens with dieting too, right? Just ask anybody who's ever stepped on a treadmill only because their workout partner was already standing there. So if you want to stay consistent, get yourself an accountability partner, someone who will check in weekly, cheer you on, and gently roast you if you miss your follow-up goals. It could be another agent, it could be a coach, it could be a broker, or even your kid if they're good at guilt tripping, and some of them are. Because when someone's holding you to your word, you're a lot less likely to ghost your goals. Be consistent in real estate. It isn't exciting, it's not glamorous to do that. But it's how top agents win, by doing the right things, even on days when they don't feel like it. So ditch those 2-day sprints. Start thinking like a professional, because agents who follow up for 90 days, they're the ones everybody else complains about at the office while watching them pick up yet one more award. So let's get to the 7 campaigns. Campaign 1. Now, I've said this in, I think, 2 meetings in the past, but I think it's a great program. The 1-a-day CMA, I call it. It's like taking a vitamin. Everybody wants to know the value of their home. Everybody does. We're trying to re-energize our sphere of influence, our social network, our past clients, and everybody who already likes and trusts us. Well, they're not ready to sell yet. That's okay. They know 5 people who are. Everybody wants to know the value of their home. Everybody who paid more than asking wants to know if they made a good decision, especially through the pandemic time. And a current CMA opens the door to a much bigger conversation. Now, there is a realtor in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm picking one out that is in the middle of, not in LA or someplace like that. Did 30 million in production last year, and he says his entire program is staying connected with his clients and providing value. So every morning, and by the way, this takes all of like 30 minutes. Do you have 30 minutes? Do that while you're drinking that $8 latte. Sends out 5 Zillow market analyses each day. It's a real simple card or email, and it says that shows a screenshot of the Zillow market analysis of one of his past clients or one of his sphere of influence, with a note that says, here's what Zillow thinks your home is worth. What are your thoughts? I have mine. Hey, I'm not asking you to sell, but I want to provide value. Prices may be moving up, they may be moving down, and I am here every step of the way to keep you informed. That is maintaining contact with people that are hopefully going to send you more and more business. 30 million in production last year, and not in one of those high-priced areas. Tom Ferry, one of the, I should say, the top trainer in the country, at least, if not in the world, for real estate, at an event 3 years ago, pitched reaching out to his past clients with this exact program. This is where Todd got it from. Screenshot of their home on Zillow, and a little note says, hey, Lauren, I was on Zillow today looking at a couple of properties. I decided to take a look at your house and look at the price. I've got my opinion of this, but what do you think? Now, by the way, they ran this campaign for 100 days, under 3.5 months, with their mentees, the people that were in their program. I think it's about 6,000 of them. They produced 18,000 listing appointments from doing this one method. And they listed $7.6 billion in listings just from doing this. Why aren't you doing this? It's such a powerful method. Just think about that. Now, I'm called a little bit of a variation of this 1-a-day CMA. Now, you can send out the Zillow note, and I think it's a great idea to do that. The other thing you can do, and I've done this from time to time, is take 5 or 6 minutes per CMA and send out a CMA from Moxie Present, which you've got access to. I don't know how to use that, Lauren. We keep doing training. We'll help you with that. Or even from RPR, if you like that better. Several of you really enjoy RPR. Follow up with a text message the next day. Hey, did you get that CMA I sent you? And if they don't respond within 3 days, give them a call. Ask to meet in person. The CMA is part of a broader database contact plan, paying attention to birthdays and holidays. Now, this is Moxie Present if you haven't used it. Here's Present up at the top. You go into mymoxie.century21.com, and you just hit Create a Presentation. And what you do is, if you sold them the house, which a lot of that will happen, right here, you're going to plug in the MLS number of the house that of when they bought it, of the house you sold them. It's going to auto-populate everything else. Now, if you don't have that, then you may have to plug in the information on their property. But you can actually put in their old MLS number. The next screen, it'll give you what Moxie thinks are the best comparables for the property. Now, you may decide to add some other ones to make it a little bit better, but you check off the ones that you think are great, and you include them. Then it gives you what it thinks it's worth. Now, you can adjust it any way you want, but you can put something together to send it to them, And then the next slide creates a report, cover page, property summary. I added some stuff to this. Location maps, side-by-side comparisons. And they can click through it. They can see interior pictures. And people do open these, by the way. Price analysis and some information on you. It's all done automatically. That does not take very long. And if you pick out 5 clients a day, 5 past clients, and send them something, how powerful is that? How much communication are you building with your past clients, your sphere of influence, your social network? Are they going to go someplace else? Probably not. You can also do something similar in RPR and try and build a value, probably a little bit better value model in RPR, but this takes a little bit longer to do. That's campaign number 1. Think about that and think about how you might be able to build that into your business. Do you have time in the morning with that $8 latte to sit down and send some stuff out? Or would you rather sit around complaining that there aren't enough leads coming in and why is the phone not ringing the way it used to back in 1987? Just kind of keep that in mind. Now, campaign number 2 is neighborhood news. Very easy one to follow. What's neighborhood news? It is a monthly email that goes out to your clients with hyper-local real estate market updates, recent sales, active listings, price trends, all in their zip code or their neighborhood. Think of it like a personalized real estate newsletter that makes you look like the expert without you having to write a single thing. It's automatic, it's polished, it's valuable, and better yet, your clients will most likely open it. So why is this important? Because staying top of mind is everything in this business. Neighborhood news does that without being annoying or salesy. You're not just sending, I'm just checking in emails or cat memes, although those do have their place. You're sending real useful data that your friends, past clients, and leads will actually appreciate. And when they see you consistently providing this value every month, what does that do? Guess who they're going to call when they're ready to buy or sell? Now, spoiler alert, not the agent who posted the Happy Taco Tuesday on Facebook and disappeared. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't post Happy Taco Tuesday. I love tacos. But you have to do something more than just be that funny guy down the street. So who should get neighborhood news? Everybody. Everybody. Let me say that one more time. Everyone. Your family, your friends, your past clients, your dentist, your doctor, the person who does your hair, that person you sold a home to in 2019 who still likes your dog's Facebook photos, and anyone who might one day care about real estate. They should all be on neighborhood news. This is how you build a pipeline that grows quietly, automatically, and powerfully in the background. So how do you start? This is really easy. Don't overthink it. You don't need to upload 200 of your clients at once. Just start by adding 2 or 3 people a day. Seriously, a little daily reminder. Again, get a second latte. You're going to be a little hyper though. By the end of the month, you're going to have 60 to 90 people in your sphere receiving a valuable branded content from you every 30 days. That's targeted to them. And that's 60 to 90 people who won't forget your name when the neighbor mentions moving. On your personal website, if you've set it up, there's a screen that allows your clients to subscribe themselves very easily. It's all they put in. And it'll actually send them one automatically, but you're not going to wait for them to do it. We're going to go into mymoxie.century21.com. We're going to click on Engage up here. That brings up this screen. You're going to change it to Agent. And that Agent dashboard is going to show you this. Now over here is something that says People. If you click on People, it'll show you all your contacts, everybody who's in your phone that is now synced with MoxieWorks. Moxie syncs with your Gmail account, with your Google Gmail. Or Outlook if you use Outlook instead. And it'll bring automatically everybody in and it'll sort them into buckets based on the groups you have them on in your phone. And I've said this in many of the Moxie trainings. When you add somebody to your phone, when you add a contact, make sure to put contact type in there. Home buyer, home seller, past client, sphere of influence. Because it's going to make it easier later to add them to campaigns. I can add everybody who's a sphere of influence to a campaign at the same time. But I'm not going to do that now. I just added a bunch of people, let's say. I click on the people thing, and then I open one of them. I'm going to open Brian from the Stroudsburg office. Okay, I'm probably not really going to put him on this, but this subscription, but I can. Now, down here at the bottom, it says subscriptions. I've got him in here, his phone number, his email address. I'm going to add him to subscriptions. And that tells me, do I want listing announcements? So every time I have a listing, it sends him one. Or do I want to add him to neighborhood news? That's what I want to add him to, something that's relevant to him. And so I click on that and it gives me two ways of doing it. Quick, the postal code is zip code. So if he's in a particular zip code, I can click go and it just starts sending it. Or I can do a custom targeted search and start by trying to analyze what type of property he has and pick relevant properties that fit his criteria and start it there. And then it'll automatically follow up and send him information on properties that are like his. Either way is fine because you're staying in contact. And Neighborhood News comes out and gives him this. Here's what's happened. New listings in the marketplace, new sales, what's happening with the trends, and so on. Real easy program to follow. Now, final thought on Neighborhood News. It's one of the easiest, smartest ways to stay in front of your people. It's free. We're paying for the feeds, but it's free, it's consistent, it's scalable, and it beats chasing cold leads who ghost you harder than that bad Tinder date. So go open Moxie Engage and start building your business one Neighborhood News contact at a time. Trust me, your future closings are going to help you. Make sure to add everybody you can to it. That was campaign 2. I'm going to jump into a little bit more complicated one. Campaign number 3, webinar marketing. I'm jumping into this one because so many of you have asked about this method because you're seeing ads online touting this as the new way of doing real estate. And by the way, there are sometimes some new methods to build business, and we can talk about a lot of those. Here's several of the ads you might see. People running ads online, you see them popping up regularly. First-time homebuyer seminar, it's set up by an expert advisor, or Georgia first-time homebuyer webinar. There's Move Up homebuyer webinar, which is great. This is the Hochul team from Century 21. Because they have to sell and buy, which is great. How do you make the transition when you've got to sell a house, but you want to find something first? What's the goal to do that? And home selling seminar, learn the 7 steps to sell your home for more. These are all different types of webinars that are being done. And some of them, by the way, are live, and some of them appear live, sort of, but they're actually recorded and they get run every so often so that the agent can keep it going. Now that takes a bit more software to actually make that happen. Okay, so back to campaign number 3, what I call webinar marketing for home buyers and sellers, or how to look brilliant on Zoom and book appointments in your sleep. All right, team, let's talk about one of the most effective yet wildly underused ways to attract serious buyers and sellers, webinars. Now remember, in the old days, which is like 3 or 4 years ago, we used to do buyer workshops in offices. We used to do them at hotels. We do investor workshops at hotels and bring everybody in. But everything now is done with Zoom, with webinars. Now, before your brain screams, but I hate being on camera, don't worry. We're not asking you to start a TikTok dance career. We're just talking about creating an educational, value-packed online presentation that positions you as the go-to expert and makes clients want to book with you before your PowerPoint even hits slide 3. So I'm going to walk through the system with you, but I do want to tell you we have a number of these PowerPoints already created. So if you decide this is the method you want to take, I want to make sure you understand that we do have these available. You can take the PowerPoint, you can tweak it to fit your personality, your desire, and start using it. So let's walk through the system, Willie, if that's okay. Step 1 is to create a solid webinar. You've got to have it in order to actually present it. And this is not the time to wing it. You need a strong, well thought out presentation, one that answers real questions buyers and sellers have, like, hey, is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to sell? How do I buy my first home? What are veterans benefits for home buyers? What should I know about interest rates? And why is my cousin Larry's Z estimate always 100,000 too high? The goal is to educate, provide massive value, and gently lead people to say, wow, this agent really knows their stuff. I probably should stop stalking listings and actually talk to somebody, to talk to this person. So get the webinar created before you do anything else. Step 2 is to create strong ads. We call these irresistible lead magnets. Now, you may have fallen for some of these. I shouldn't say fallen for, but you may have reacted to some of these on social media yourself. We're going to create these to try and help you generate business. but you got to promote it. And again, there's cost involved in this. No matter what they say in these webinars trying to sell you their product, there's cost in that. The one on the screen, Unlock Your Dream Home free webinar. Create ads that speak to pain points and curiosity. Is it finally time to stop renting? Home prices are shifting. Find out what your home's really worth. Or the 3 things to know before you buy in 2025. And again, there's a cost to run these ads because good marketing isn't free. But guess what? Meta goes to work for you using AI magic in the background to find the people most likely to register for your webinar because they don't get paid unless people click on the link. If only Meta could clean our kitchens as well. But we want to utilize that, tap into that to bring us potential leads. And these are some of the examples of some of the ads that were used in a webinar that I would suggest taking. And I'm going to come back around to the webinar I took recently, but how to prepare your Toronto home to sell for maximum price, free online webinar, Ottawa first-time home buyer class, attention, we're hosting a free online class to help you buy your first home. These are the types of ads that attract attention. And again, Meta goes to work finding likely candidates for the webinars. These are some of the ads being used by top webinar trainers. Now, step 3, remind. You've got to get them to register and make sure they actually show up. Sure, they saw the link, they clicked on it, they found it kind of interesting. They even stuck in their email address or they used Meta to actually connect them, but they're not actually going to follow up and see the webinar. Well, we want them to attend. So in order to do that, and again, this is where the software comes in, you have to have text reminders. Now, technically, you can create a list of everybody who signs up, and you can go out and text them every day. And, oh, the webinar begins in an hour. The webinar begins in 10 minutes. Click for details. You want to text reminder messages. You want to email reminders, and it's much easier to have automated software to do this. You may even use a carrier pigeon if you're old school. But each reminder should include the date and time, a reason not to miss it, like the secret buyers used to win bidding wars without overpaying, or the 7 deadly mistakes you can make when buying a house now to avoid them. A reminder that this isn't just any webinar. It's the one that can help them finally stop renting from that guy who keeps raising the rent and pretending the broken dishwasher is vintage. And to do the follow-up campaigns, you'll likely need software to do it. And this is where some of the expense comes in. But again, your return on this tends to be very high. Step 4, host the webinar like a pro and close appointments. During the webinar, you've got to deliver real value. You've got to show personality and you've got to build trust. Now, I have several sample webinars that you can watch if you want to. They're pretty long. They're over an hour each, but that you can watch and repeatedly watch so you get the idea of how this works. But don't forget, the entire goal of having these webinars is to build an appointment. So you've got to sprinkle in 3 or 4 trial closes. Like if you'd like to talk about your specific situation, just book a call with me. We'll pop up a calendar right now. And a calendar will pop up on the screen, and they can pick the time they want to have a conversation with you, either by phone or by Zoom. Don't worry, there's no pressure, just a conversation to see what makes sense for you. Seriously, this is the easiest part of the whole home buying process. Just use the calendar to the right and pick a time. And yes, that calendar should pop right up in the webinar so they can book on the spot by phone, by Zoom, or if they want to come in and meet with you in person. You choose, you just make it easy for them to say yes. Now, the webinar course that I took last week, this guy actually in one of his early sessions in 2025 booked 115 buyer appointments from one webinar. 115 buyer appointments, and put this up on the screen to show you how powerful this system is. Now, some of you are going to say, oh, wait a minute, Lauren, I just want you to give me the slides, tell me where to advertise it, and I'll run the webinar and see how it goes. And you'll get 2 people. I really recommend that if you're going to do this program, that you take this guy's course, or there's 3 or 4 other courses that you might want to take. Most of them around $50. Oh, Lauren, I don't want to spend $50. I think it's worth it because it's 15 hours of material. And I can't spend 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes explaining to you how it works and why certain things are very powerful when somebody else just took 15 hours to do the same thing to me. So it's not something I can turn around and say, oh, let me compress all of this into a couple of minutes. I'm trying that, but it's pretty hard to do. So I'll give you the background and the help that I can to get you started. But I do want you to consider, if you want to use this system, at least learning a little bit about the system and how it works. Now, those are the first four steps. Step five is to follow up like a rock star. So there are two types of groups that you're going to follow up with. Those people who attended, so we need different follow-up campaigns for each. Those people who attended, we want to send them a thank you email, and hopefully automatically using software. We want to send them more value-packed content and gently nudge them to schedule if they haven't already scheduled to meet with you. Now, for those people who registered but ghosted you, didn't show up, let them know they can watch the replay and that the information is just as valuable because life happens, and sometimes their dog really did chew their Wi-Fi router. So you want to try and pick up some of these people who may not have actually taken part in it. The cost doing business. Now, yes, again, it comes with an investment. I've said that a couple of times. Webinar software like Zoom Webinar or Webinar Jam or GoToWebinar could run $500 to $1,500 per year. Now, we do have a Zoom account that you theoretically could use. That's not the problem. Zoom, which is what I'm using now, Zoom to host a webinar is fine, but it doesn't come with all the other parts, which is the follow-up. Having a registration page where people can register easily, that has lots of information that continues to sell them on the idea of registering. It doesn't have the follow-up texts and emails. So those come with software like Webinar Jam, and there's a few others out there, but you're going to pay at least $500 a year. So you subscribe to that, and you're going to utilize it by doing a webinar every 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to try and build your client base. You also, on top of that, have to run ads through Meta or Google. They cost money, but that's how you reach actual leads, not just your Aunt Linda and the 6 people who still see your organic posts. Remember, you're building a pipeline of warm, educated leads from who know you, trust you, and are more likely to convert because they see you as a trusted advisor, a friend, a partner in helping them to buy or sell a property because they're seeing you online, they're hearing your voice, and you're talking to them, you're speaking to them. And when it's done right, that investment is going to come back to you with interest. You're going to get that return on investment because so many of these people are going to come back to you. And your first webinar may not do as well as your second webinar, but you're going to grow that. And again, when you run that Meta ad, it's going to go out and find likely people. Now, I've probably said this before, but I'll say it again because we use this technique in a lot of the marketing we're doing now. Everything you do with your phone, Google and Meta know about. If you've got Instagram or Facebook on your phone, it tracks everything you do. It tracks whether you walk in and out of Target. It tracks what stores you go into. It tracks what news articles you click on. Kind of creepy, huh? It tracks what you Google, what you search. When you go on Zillow and search for houses, it tracks that too. So when we run an ad on Meta, on Facebook or Instagram, remember they do revenue sharing with the New York Times and a lot of newspapers and TV stations and everything else. So your ads don't just show up on Facebook, they show up everywhere. And Meta doesn't make money unless people click. So what they do is now when we put our ad in, we have to note that it is a financing option or that it's a real estate ad, and we can't discriminate for area. So we have to take a 15-mile minimum radius, and we have to put in everybody in that radius, no matter whether or not they can afford to buy a property. So what Meta then does is it realizes in the first 48 hours it's not getting the traction it wants. So it starts scrolling through to look for buyers that have clicked on Zillow, that have done certain things, and it finds likely buyers to send to your ad so that they can get paid, and in return, you get people who are going to see your webinar. So some final thoughts on webinars. They're not just another shiny object. They're a system. They're a strategy. They're a way to scale your prospecting, build your brand, and convert more leads without chasing people around like a desperate open house sign. So let's get started. Make that presentation. Again, I've got lots of PowerPoints already. Launch the ads and book calls. But again, before you start this, I really recommend that I can send you some of the videos that you can watch on how this works. but it makes sense to at least take one of these courses that takes a little bit of time so that you can really understand how to make this successful. So you're not just uh, throwing stuff out there. And let your future clients meet that version of you that's already sold their next home before they even realized it was on the market. So that's campaign number 3. Number 4, we talked about once before, but the magic buyer letter. And you've probably heard this idea before. See, you are likely right now to have a buyer who's qualified, who's motivated, but just hasn't found the right property yet, right? So what we're going to do is try and utilize that to look for possible inventory, properties that are off market. So if we're going to send something to properties that are off market and try and find a home for that buyer and put a deal together before it ever hits the market, we've got to create something that's believable and short, get to the point, make it believable. You can't send out a letter to everybody in the neighborhood and say, I've got a buyer, there's no inventory, I'm the best. Let me tell you about how wonderful I am. I'm just awesome. Because nobody's going to respond to it. Everybody does that. You've got to have a believable message that you're going to send out to them. So here's an example we've used, dear Carly and Angel. Our client Taylor just missed out on a home in Parkland Manor, or whatever neighborhood you're looking at. Her grandkids live nearby, and she really wants them to be able to walk to her home. Taylor would love a fenced yard for her dog if at all possible. She's a well-qualified buyer with a great lender, and she's really flexible. Her dream closing would be sometime in the next 3 to 6 months. If you even have the earliest thoughts of making a move or know any neighbors who might be, could you please text me at this number? That is a more powerful card to send to a neighborhood that people are more likely to respond to than a generic ad. It's the magic buyer. It's somebody we have. Now, I'm not saying to make somebody up. Please don't do that. But try to get out there in front of people with utilizing the buyers you have to generate listings. And here's the thing. Even if they're not the right house for your buyer, we've now identified somebody. We had somebody raise their hand and say, I might be willing to sell. So that's somebody we're going to follow up with. Now, we might call the neighborhood again, following the TCPA laws. Hey, Blake, this is Lauren calling with Century 21. I know that you're not expecting my call. I'm not trying to bother you. The reason I'm reaching out is because I'm a little desperate. I've got a few buyers who really want your neighborhood. They're qualified. They're motivated. I know this is probably not for you, but if you've ever had the earliest thoughts of selling, I'd love to have a conversation with you. This is actually a card somebody used. They drew a map or printed a Google map and drew a little square around it where their buyer wants to be. And I'm looking for a home in this exact area. My client literally screenshotted this map for me and sent it to me. Now we can take this and we can mail it to every house on that grid. And you will possibly get activity from it. It's been a successful campaign in the past. You can also call your sphere of influence. You may have sold a property in that area in the past. So let's say you're in Hemlock Farms and you've sold 10 houses over the last 3 years in Hemlock Farms. And you've got a buyer who wants to live there. And you start calling through your past clients and say, hey, listen, the reason I'm calling is I've got a buyer I'm working with and they really want to live in the neighborhood. I know you're not planning on selling, but you know anybody in the neighborhood that might be considering making a move because I've got this buyer who's ready to go. And by the way, when you're doing this with your past clients and your sphere of influence, your social network, it is showing them that you're proactively out there working. And when they go to sell their property, they don't want somebody who sticks it on the multi-list. They want somebody who's going to be doing the same thing for them, out looking for that house or looking for that buyer. And this is a real powerful method of both reconnecting with your past clients and possibly generating some leads as well. One of the things I've repeated many times, I don't remember who said it originally, but good markets create bad habits. When you start in the real estate business, when things are really hot, you just wait for the phone to ring. Bad markets create great agents because they have to go out and find business. So when you do put one of these deals together, and if you do this enough, you'll do it. You'll find somebody who wants to sell. You'll bring this buyer in. We're working on 2 of these deals, by the way, right now this week. You bring a buyer in, put a deal together. Then we're going to leverage that to possibly list other properties. So follow up the area with an evidence of success. Maybe we'll hit a neighborhood where we want to pick up buyers and sellers. If the only reason you haven't sold your home yet is because you haven't found a house to move into, I've got some good news for you. Here's the story of how I found an off-market property for buyers in the neighborhood. And I may be able to find you the perfect house too, even if it's not for sale now. Again, very powerful way of trying to build a connection. Campaign number 5 is hybrid farming. Now, farming has always worked. People don't do it because it takes too long. It takes between 10 and 16 months to build a connection with a neighborhood. But once you become established as the neighborhood realtor, it's very hard to unseat you. And you're going to, in some cases, get more than 60% of the inventory coming on the market in that neighborhood, but it takes time. What many top agents did 15 years ago was pick a neighborhood and go out and knock on doors in the neighborhood every day for 2 hours a day. And then go back to the same houses every 60 or 90 days so they would be seen regularly. And they'd also send a newsletter. So let's try and bring that into the 21st century a little bit. Some hybrid farming. Let's try and find a way to connect with everybody we can in that neighborhood. So find out if the neighborhood has a Facebook group, and if they do, join it and start participating. If they don't, create one. And start sending out whatever you can to anybody in the neighborhood. Try and connect with them. You can mail a postcard out what your home might be worth in 2025. Now, I'm looking for at least 2 touch points a month, okay? So create the neighborhood Facebook group. Try and get people to connect to it. Mail a postcard. There's a whole system behind that. Mail a postcard what your home might be worth in 2025, and post monthly market insights to the Facebook group. People search their own neighborhood online. They search their own school district online. They search their own township online, their own development. So they will eventually find it if you're not reaching out to them directly and trying to find their connections. As a bonus, join the neighborhood app like Nextdoor and start answering questions without sounding salesy. Oh, by the way, I'm your perfect realtor. Don't do that, but answer questions. In February, it's Valentine's Day, so spread the love. Drop off your loved Valentines with your contact info and a market stat sheet. I'm serious. If you have a little fun with something, it works so much better. Put in a Facebook post the 5 things buyers are looking for this spring, and encourage neighbors to invite their friends to join the Facebook group. And then in March, do a spring market sneak peek. Send a printed newsletter postcard, because we're trying to hit them several ways. Social media. We're trying to hit them with letters. We're trying to hit them in person. We want to actually connect with them several different ways. And when this works, this really, really works. And by the way, as you get people again back to your website, you can have a pixel or something just like a cookie on their computer that lets us know, not us particularly, but lets us know they've been on your website, and we can pay Meta or Google to do follow-up stuff directly to them and keep us top of mind in front of them. That's how a lot of these young agents are doing so well. As soon as they're able to get somebody to react to one of their posts or their ads, and they click on it and they get to your page on your website about the webinar, or your page on the website about searching, it automatically tags them and starts pushing ads for the next 60 or 90 days. Now, it has a cost associated with it, but it keeps us in front of them. So again, March, spring market sneak peek. Send a printed newsletter or postcard. 3 signs the spring market will be hot. Post a poll in the Facebook group, which house style do you love most in our neighborhood? And engage in neighborhood app threads about home improvement or spring cleanup. April is our Easter extravaganza. Host a neighborhood Easter egg hunt in a local park or large yard. Several of our agents did that this past couple of weeks. Hand deliver invites or send a postcard. It doesn't hurt. It's good for the legs and your breathing to go out there and stuff something at everybody's door saying, hey, by the way, we're having a neighborhood Easter egg hunt, and they're not going to get mad because you're doing something for the kids. Please join us. Courtesy of Century 21. Post photos in the Facebook group with permission from the egg hunt and tag the neighbors. In May, you might bring in an ice cream truck. Free treats courtesy of your neighborhood realtor. Use it to meet families and chat real estate casually and hand out market updates. Mail a Meet Your Agent postcard or a community home sales map. In June is homeownership month, so we do a Facebook video, what you should know before listing your home. We'll get to that in a little bit. Launch a neighborhood book club. That actually works quite well. Kick her off with a fun light read and host a casual gathering. and then send out a postcard thinking of selling. I've got buyers looking in our area. Now we're through the first half of the year. July, red, white, and real estate. Post patriotic home decorating ideas and recognize the best dressed house in the group. Sponsor a mini block party or popsicle drop for the 4th of July, and maybe send out a postcard how summer can be the sweet spot for selling. Now, one of the things we used to do when we did a lot of farming, by the way, for the 4th of July, we would order, they're about 18-inch tall American flags that have a spot for you to staple your business card on the bottom. And they stand out about a foot. So in certain neighborhoods, particularly where the houses were relatively close together, we would go down the street. We'd go out at 10 o'clock at night and we'd hit 400 or 500 or 600 houses. We'd bring some kids along to help and push a flag into each person's yard, a little one, doesn't create any damage. And when they got up in the morning, they've got rows and rows of these flags down streets, and it's very impressive. And our card is at the bottom. It worked really well. Now, we'd always get yelled at by one person. Something changed every year. But we also got people to send us cakes and stuff. So people really appreciated it. And we controlled that neighborhood for a long time. In August, we're going back to school. So provide a downloadable back to school checklist or post school information in the Facebook group. Send out a postcard, what did homes sell for this summer? And invite the neighbors to a coffee meetup at a local cafe. In September, fall in love with your home. Host a front porch photo day with a fall backdrop. Offer a free family photo to Facebook group members. Use it to reconnect with past clients. And postcard, 3 fall fixes to increase your home's value. Now, all of these things are relatively cheap, by the way. The idea is to really build that network in that neighborhood and set yourself up as the area realtor. October, pumpkin everything. Host a pumpkin giveaway or a carving contest. We've done this several times with social media votes. Might give away a $20 gift card or something like that. Mail a fun Halloween-themed postcard. Don't be spooked by the market. In November, there's gratitude and giving, so share a thank you note or gratitude message in social media and by mail. You might organize a mini neighborhood food drive, offer porch pickup, get some people involved in that, and a postcard. I'm grateful to work with great neighbors like you. And then wrap up the year in December with a neighborhood exclusive mailer, home value year in review, what sold in the neighborhood, what happened, and post a video, real estate in review, what we learned in 2025. And then maybe organize a simple cookie exchange or holiday porch tour with prizes. Now, these are all ideas. I want to get your mind gelling a little bit because these aren't real expensive. But again, with any of these things, this is a long-term method. You've got to do it for the long term. You can't just do a pumpkin carving contest and expect everybody to come to you. And by the way, those who are saying, oh, I can't do this, it's May or June or whenever you're listening to this message, you can start this anytime. You don't have to wait till January. But follow something like this and come up with whatever you can that might be fun. Some of the tips for success: keep it consistent. Aim for 1 digital touch at least and 1 physical touch each month. Always offer real value. You know, we're having fun, but make it educational, social, or even emotional. Try and collect emails and phone numbers. You can use it with QR codes to sign up for events. That QR code will make them fill in some information so they can sign up, and build a follow-up list. And don't forget, track your results so you know which ideas land and which fall flat like deflated balloons. Now, once you get this information, their emails and their phone numbers and their names, you can load all of this into Facebook for Meta. You can connect with them online, but if you can load that information in, you can create a targeted group, and you can actually have ads that will push directly to their feeds based on who they are. Very powerful strategy, by the way. Campaign number 6, we talked about before as well, the ultimate newsletter strategy. I know, they don't work. I tried that once. I don't want to bother my family and friends. I'm not emailing newsletters. I'm sick of it. I'm not doing it. I've heard all of that, and I'm sorry, they do work. But if you're sending something generic, they work less than if you send something very specific. And again, 6% to 8% of your database is going to list a house in 2025, and you're only going to list 1 in 6 of them, including the people you're related to. That's kind of sad, but it's true. Top agents, top teams email their database every week. Not once a month, every week. That's the average. Now, how do you create something that's going to get attention, that's going to stick with them? Create something that they click on that brings them to your website so that it keeps tagging them, okay? Have some great headlines. They can revolve around your latest listing. That's not a problem. Try and have some fun copy and make it engaging. You might even use ChatGPT to help you with that. Keep your email short. Add a video because it makes it so personal. If you can put a video in there and make it clickable. We want them to come back to our website or your YouTube channel because the more engagement you have, the more likely the email is not to end up in their spam. And we can also then use that pixel or that cookie to try and again follow up with them with extra ads if you want to. That's an additional cost, but it is something that keeps you top of mind. And that's what a lot of these young top agents are doing. So headlines, have fun with it. So for home buyers, you might put out, hey, warning, this email may cause you to buy a house. Your dream home is out there and might be cheaper than therapy. Houses don't swipe left. Find the one today. Rent is like throwing money away and you deserve better. You won't believe what's for sale. No, it's not a haunted house. And maybe for home sellers, your home is worth how much? No, this isn't a scam. Sell now or wait. The answer might surprise you. Packing is a pain, but that sold sign is so worth it. And your neighbor just sold for top dollar. Are you next? Selling your home is like a first date. Here's how to nail it. You can have a lot of fun with these. Now, if any of these headlines scream, I've got to run this and send it to everybody I know, but I don't know what to write. I don't know how to put this email together. Email me. I will create it for you and send it to you. I'm trying to help you to do well. So that much I'll do. But again, you really want to have your website set up. Come to our Moxie class. Have that website set up so there's a place to direct them to so that it isn't just email going out. Some of the headlines, here's an $842 million secret that could change your life. If looks could kill, this mid-century home could be dangerous. And turn your Mondays into Fridays on Lake Wallenpaupack with a new party deck. Again, things to try and catch attention. Some of the advice I give you include some teaser photos with a link back to the website to find more photos. So if you always include a listing in there, have 2 or 3 photos, but say for more photos, click here. And that link should take you to your website, not to Flex MLS, not to Zillow, to your website. Why? Because then if they ask any questions or want to see a house, it comes from your site back to you automatically through Leads Engine. And include information, but as much information as you can, click back to your website and always have a call to action. By the way, if you're thinking about selling your house, call me for a free copy of the 9 deadly mistakes you can make when selling a house and how to avoid it. This report prepared by industry insiders will help you to save thousands of dollars when attempting to get top dollar for your home. Don't delay. Get a copy of that free report. Just give me a call, text me at this number, email me here. Those are things to do with the newsletter. Campaign 7 is attention-getting video for social media. Now, again, any type of video you put out there can catch fire and do really well. So be careful, but you want to be putting stuff out regularly. You want to improve your social media leverage on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. And the most successful videos in real estate, the best performing videos, tend to be forecasts. So keep that in mind as well. Forecast, market prediction for the second half of 2025 in Lake Wallenpaupack. Market predictions for the second half of 2025 in Salisbury Township, or whatever you're trying to hit, whatever target you're looking for. Now, I did this. I'm not going to go through it in too much detail, but I put into ChatGPT, can you write the script for a short YouTube video outlining predictions for a stronger housing market in the Lehigh Valley in 2025 than in 2024? So it actually writes out an entire script. Now, I could probably put this on a screen. I mean, I could put it on paper too, but I can put it on a screen and I can read all of this. And as I read it, I can then post that to Instagram, to Facebook, to Twitter, to TikTok. Why is 2025 better? Possibly lower mortgage rates. Now we're getting further into 2025 and maybe things aren't going the way we were hoping. More inventory, economic growth, and job stability were all things we were hoping for. Those were the 3 big reasons. But again, people will watch these. What does all this mean to you? It might be a great time to jump in before prices climb again. Some final thoughts. So and a call to action. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more real estate updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Or you can say, for more information on the value of your house, do this. Now, there are a lot of successful realtors who are constantly posting 30, 60-second videos like every day. Now, this is a Century 21 agent in Easton, and he posts mortgage rates are dropping or a little public service announcement for all. So each day pops up in my news feed what he's talking about. There's another agent in our area that's doing the same thing, and the following they get is incredible. It takes time to build that following, but you've got to be doing this consistently. Everything takes consistency. One thing I will point out also, there is a program. I don't know if it's available on Droid yet, but it is available on iPhones. It's called Captions. I believe it's free. So what you do is you put on the screen your script. And again, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. You just want to make it consistent. You can even ask ChatGPT, the free version, what might work as examples that we can put together for 30-second or 60-second or 90-second spots. Can you create 10 of them for me for the next 10 days and film them all and just post one a day? I'm not kidding. It really works. But the cool thing about Captions is you can read your script off the screen. Your eyes can be following it and reading it. But Captions automatically eye corrects. So when you post it online, it makes it look like you were looking at the camera the whole time. It's really amazing. Again, it's for iPhones. I hope they have it out on Droid shortly. But I would strongly suggest that software program and see if you can find something on Droid as well. The other thing that I've used, and I think this is really powerful, is every time you post any sort of video on a property, and many of you have your properties videos done on your properties automatically or by a professional, but however you do it, share that online, and then in the remarks, put in your contact information. This is a realtor. Text 8DLT. Why is that? Because that'll tell Esther what property you're texting about to this phone number for more information or private tour. And by the way, this Esther is not the listing agent for this house. So Esther promotes this to her sphere of influence, her social network. She goes to this guy, Jason, who has the listing, and she says, hey, would you mind if I share your property and maybe pick up some buyers off it? And if Jason says, sure, go for it, she creates this and builds a following. Lots of people are doing lots of interesting types of videos. This one, I'm not a big fan of watching this particular person, Lisa, but she plays hide and seek in the house that she is filming, and she speaks with a whisper. And people follow her. This one video where she's hiding behind cabinets and behind curtains and stuff actually has, I think it's now close to 2 million views. Would you like 2 million people to watch you try and sell a house and remember you? Because I think I would, even if I have to do something kind of silly to do it. So keep in mind, there's lots of things you can do to try and attract attention. I do want to throw in one bonus thing. While we're talking about video, and we started today talking about follow-up, I want you to really think about using video in your follow-up. Every time you meet with somebody, every time you talk with somebody, you've got to plug them into a campaign, because let's be perfectly honest. You are not going to call them 5 or 6 times like you should. And because of that, out of those 30 clients who call you in the next 4 months or whatever it is, you might sell a house to one of those 30 that call you. And unfortunately, when they're calling you from an ad or a listing online or something else, and it's unfortunate because you're depriving that buyer of working with the best person in the business, and that's you. So when you put them on your follow-up campaign, rather than just have emails, again, I'd build in some text messages, I'd build in some calls, but have a campaign. But you can also build into those campaigns some of your videos, short videos that explain things along the way that they'll watch, and they get to know and like you. So again, this can completely transform your follow-up game. I'm not talking about sending emails to say just checking in and having a lot of emojis on it, although I do that sometimes. I'm talking about building in that video. That's you on camera, sharing value, building trust, and showing your clients that you're actually a real human being, not just a floating head on a business card. And why video? Here's the thing. People don't connect with text. They connect with faces, voices, and stories. Video allows you to deepen your relationship with clients, even when you're not face-to-face. They feel like they know you. And you don't need a ring light and a film crew. You can do it on your cell phone. You just need your phone, your personality, and a lot of you have some great personalities, and a little bit of time. So what should you say? Each video, if you're doing a follow-up campaign, start by adding one email in your follow-up campaign, and then do two. And then, by the end of 2 months from now, maybe you have a follow-up campaign that has 7 videos embedded in it. Let's say you're working with buyers. Imagine adding to your campaign a quick video explaining the home buying journey, because inspection contingency sounds scarier in writing. A message about how your team helps buyers to find their dream home and avoids the nightmare ones with the 1970s shag carpet in the kitchen. Or a short explainer about mortgage options, because ARM and FHA might as well be Pokemon names to most clients. You can put a small video, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, into each follow-up email, and it'll connect with them on another level. Now, you can also post these everywhere else. They don't have to be long videos. They can be short 60, 90-second videos explaining one item of the process of buying. And by the way, your call to action at the end of each video that you might post online might be, join us for a free webinar on buying your first house. Join us on our free webinar on being a move-up buyer from your current house to your next one and how to navigate that process. So here's some videos that I pulled up in the last half hour. 5 things I wish I knew as a first-time home buyer. Warning for first-time home buyers. I love that. Things to check in your home before closing. How about this one? 14 things to avoid before buying a house. This type of message, and this is going to be a lot longer than 30 seconds, but 14 things to avoid before buying a house might be 3 or 4 minutes long. You have to go through them kind of quick. You could also do it half an hour. But 110,000 views of the 14 things to avoid before buying a house. Home buying process, explain the process, 11,500 views. And buyer beware, before you sign a buyer brokerage agreement, you better watch this video. And we're pushing this to everybody in our sphere of influence, everybody who might be in the area. And again, over 12,000 views. You don't have to have long videos. You can put these together. What about sellers? You can build into your follow-up campaign videos about the home selling process, about pricing, about staging. You can talk about the wild adventure it is to show homes with toddlers. You might do a tip about what improves home value without needing to audition for a home renovation show, or just a friendly market update to let them know their equity is looking fabulous this season. But little short videos to put together. Why video works? The bottom line is that video builds connection. It sets you apart. And when your client says, wow, you made that easy to understand, that's when you know it's working. You can start simple, record on your phone, be yourself. And yes, it's okay to have a sense of humor, because real estate is a serious business, but you don't have to be serious all the time. So go ahead and hit record. Your clients are waiting to meet the real you. And trust me, you look great on camera. Don't worry about it. And finally, I'm just going to mention in the last minute or so, many of the tried and true methods of continuing to build connections and attract home sellers and buyers. The 3 steps to success circle prospecting. This is a terrible image, obviously, but it's one of the simplest ways to build your brand and your business, circle prospecting. This isn't just cold calling strangers about some mystery listing in another town. It's smart, targeted outreach to neighbors of the home you just listed, that you just held open or you sold. And here's how it works. You're going to do what we used to call 3 steps to success. When you list the home, call the neighbors. You can also go and knock on the doors, or you could put a flyer out there, but actually talking to them is what you really want to do. So you call the neighbors, watching the TCP list, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. Just want to let you know about a home in your neighborhood is hitting the market. If you know anybody looking to move nearby, or you're curious about what this means for your home's value, I'd be happy to chat. Again, when you do this, you are doing more than anybody else does. And when they go to sell, they're thinking, wow, that person actually tried to help sell that house rather than sticking it on the multi-list. And then you do an open house. And when you host the open house, call them again and personally invite them. Hey, I just want to let you know I'm doing an open house down the street. Why don't you stop by, take a look, grab a cookie. I'm going to have some great ones. Maybe meet your future neighbors, depending on who's there, or at least scope out the competition if you decide to sell. And then when the home sells, you're going to call them one last time. Well, maybe not one last time, but one more time. Just wanted to let you know that the home sold. And as you probably know, when one house moves, Usually a few more follow. So if you happen to be curious what yours is worth, let me know. I'll be happy to talk to you. Now, these three simple touches have one powerful message. I am the go-to agent in your neighborhood. So start dialing, because nothing builds credibility faster than being the one who keeps the neighborhood in the know. And remember to be very careful of those Telephone Consumer Protection Act rules. People do want to know, though, what's going up for sale in their neighborhood. And you are doing a non-invasive call, just giving them information. And I think a lot of people appreciate that. Second one, of course, you can sign up with more than a dozen lead sources right here that refer agents with no upfront cost, but you are going to pay a referral fee. So consider, if you don't have enough business now, maybe you want to go to UpNest or Fast Expert or isoldmyhouse.com or Effective Agents and use this one of these to try and pick up some additional buyers. Yeah, you might pay 35 or 38% referral fee. I'm not working for so little. Okay, I understand that. But if you don't have a buyer right now, maybe you want to get one, even if you don't get a lot of money out of it. So try and keep that in the back of your mind. And by the way, if you do charge them a buyer agency fee, anything you get, you've got to pay a referral fee on for these. And any lead you get, make sure you put them into your follow-up campaign. And hopefully, as you sell a listing that comes in from one of these, or you find a buyer that buys a property, you then get them to refer you business, and you're not going to be paying referral fees on those people that they bring you. Of course, we have a great video training on expired listings and for sale by owners. Most of those do end up listing. So if you're interested, you can watch those. If you don't have them in your email, let me know. I'll send you the links, because I do think they're pretty good. And finally, another contact with your past clients and social network. You want to stay in front of them, let them know about new listings, and ask for their help in selling them. Hey, Tom, I've got some insider info for you. A new 4-bedroom, 3-bath colonial is going to hit the market in Bedford. It will likely sell within a week, and it's priced under $950. Well, it's Bucks County. What can I say? I know you probably have someone in your network who's looking to make a move. Who do you know that might be interested? And this approach reminds them that you're in real estate, makes them think about who they know that's moving. That line actually works, and shows them how active you are at marketing properties, not just sticking them in the multi-list. And again, they're going to refer you all their friends and relatives. You've got to call Ina or Jane or Brian or Jotham. You've got to call them. They're the best. Empower them to refer people to you, because again, your database is larger than you think. And closing out, I just want to remind you one more time, we need your help. So as we work hard to try and provide some of the marketing for you, to provide some of the education for you, and build this brand, I want you to consider using some of our partners in this business. So in the Lehigh Valley, Lower Poconos, we've got Settlement USA, obviously, a title company. We have an incredible new manager that we brought in that has 15 years experience or more, and just very dynamic and amazing. Mountain Abstract for the Northern Poconos, Pike Wayne, that whole area up there as you get up into the northern part of the Poconos. He, of course, does business everywhere, but John Jones is an attorney, so you have that backing, which is fantastic, and that information and knowledge, and that becomes part of the title process. Paul Macaron from 21st Century Lending has access to every program I have ever seen in mortgages, and he is more than willing to help you to put on one of these webinars. No, he's not going to pay for it and take the course for you, but he will help you to put some of the stuff together and be on the webinar with you and help you to build that brand if you're looking for buyers. Then, of course, Valor Insurance, Rich Peterson. Rich has more than 100 underwriters and carriers for insurance. Everybody that you can possibly think of, he's got. So if you've got Progressive, or you've got State Farm or Allstate or Farmers or Travelers or Openly, he's got access to them. And so he can find your clients insurance and find the right fit for them, the best value for them in the insurance industry. He also does health, life, and disability. And if you have not had him look at your house or car insurance recently, give him a call, because he saved a lot of us a lot of money. So I want you to keep that in mind as well. Again, thank you for participating with us today. I really hope that you got something out of this, and I hope that you reach out to me and say, this is what I'm planning on doing next. If you have any information on it, because I gave you some overviews, please send it to me. If you have links to take more education about the webinar system or something else, I will get that to you so that you will hopefully get rolling. And my goal is to try and help you to be as successful as you can be. Thanks for joining us today, and I will catch up with you later. Thanks.